Hello, captains. This is Kent again, and welcome to the Flight Show. So, today I'm doing something a little out of the ordinary. As I mentioned to you episodes ago, I wanted to do a little bit more of general aviation because I think that's kind of the unsung heroes in flight simulating. But particularly also with the business jet class. So, I remember back when I was an avid Flight Simulator X user, and I had purchased Carenado's S550 Citation 2, and I was really starting to like it, but then I kind of moved over to P3D, and particularly version 4. They had to convert all these aircraft over to version 4, so I just kind of forgot about it. But, I remembered that I always liked the airplane. It's a nice, sleek business jet. It's one of the smaller class business jets, but I just really liked the appearance of it and its handling as far as Carenado is concerned. So I thought to myself, hey, let's do a business jet flight and reintroduce the Carenado S550 Citation 2 to see maybe if this is a business jet class that somebody might be interested in. So to give you a little bit about the aircraft, it can cruise at 35,000 feet, and its service ceiling's actually, as high as 43,000 feet. It can do a maximum speed of Mach 0.772, and its cruising speed is about 403 knots or 464 miles per hour, 746 kilometers per hour for those that use the metric system. And it can do that cruise speed at 35,000 feet or 11,000 meters. It has a range of 1,998 nautical miles or 2,299 miles or 3,700 kilometers. That's with maximum fuel. Its stall speed is about 94 miles an hour or 152 kilometers per hour or 82 knots. So this thing can actually get kind of slow as far as a jet is concerned. And it has a rate of climb of about 3,040 feet per minute or 15.4 meters per second. It's really, as you can tell, a sleek little aircraft. It almost looks like a little twin fighter. But it handles it's very stable. It has a nice handling as far as, being in flight simulator is concerned. I've never flown it. I'm not a licensed pilot, so I can't give you that perspective. But I can say that I've enjoyed flying. It's fun to fly. And once you learn the systems, you actually will feel a sense of accomplishment after you've navigated and gone wherever it is you're going. So I have put together a flight from General Aviation in San Diego, or KSAN, and we're going to fly all the way up to now. This, by the way, this airport is Orbx San Diego Airport, and we're going to fly up to Flightbeam's relatively new airport of Portland, or KPDX. And I'm a huge fan of Flightbeam's airports. Not to take anything from Orbx, Flightbeam just really does some quality airports. I'm just such a fan of them. I'm hoping that they ever watch one of my videos and think about doing where I'm from, KBNA or Nashville International. But anyway, I've already put the navs together for this flight, so we can just jump in, start our taxi. I haven't learned how to do a cold and dark, so I'm going to use its menu system that Carenado is known for. But we're just going to get out of here and we're going to fly. So here we are in the cockpit. See, so it's a combination of kind of gas gauges and a glass cockpit. There is a version of this aircraft that is a all glass cockpit, but I came across it after I purchased this one, so I'm just rolling with this. But still, like I said, it's enjoyable to fly, so we're just going to run with it. Now, I will point out that the FMC is this kind of characteristic FMC that Carenado uses. It's not like high fidelity like you would get in an FS Labs or a PMDG aircraft, but once you get a hang of it, it's actually pretty cool. If you want to get in the weeds of flight management, this isn't the system for you, but especially if you're kind of like learning how to use FMC, this actually isn't too bad. It's growing on me. So as you can see, my navs are already put in, and we can just go ahead and say that we have clearance, and we'll get ready to start. So what I'll do is just to get our pushback going, I'm going to request a pushback, and I'm going to do it from let's just say ATS terminal services. And we'll say we want a straight pushback. Do we want to start engines before pushback? Yes, and there's a reason. Because if you look outside, from what I can tell, you need to start the aircraft with the external power unit attached. So until I find out otherwise, we'll go ahead and start the engines.
We're ready for pushback.
And then we'll remove the external power unit. Or the GPU, ground power unit. So he's just coming over here to attach things up. What it looks like from the cockpit. Yeah, I mean, he's really close up in there, be it that this is a general aviation class. And while he's doing that, I'm going to click some switches here. Surface all, get some of these lights to go out. Pitot, get that on. And this will go out once we start engines. So we'll just wait for that to happen. Just give it a second. And we'll go, let's see, I think I got everything going on here. Yeah, we're good. Now, while you're up, I don't know, you should be down. We're not doing the flights, we're not doing the checklist or anything like that, so just forgive me. I just want you to get an idea of what this plane is like to fly. If you want a tutorial of this plane and you're thinking of purchasing it, let me know, because I have been learning this aircraft. I'd be really happy to learn it. Okay, so now we can go ahead and start engines. So I'm going to tell it to do so. And as you can see, they're starting. I'm doing the Control E thing because they don't really spell out how to do a cold and dark start. We'll get to that later. But, you know, again, I just want you to see if this is an airplane that you think that you would like to purchase and learn.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
I ain't releasing nothing until these engines are started, so nah. Okay, engine 1 is started.
Release parking brakes.
No. Alright, engine 2 is doing its thing.
Parking brakes.
I guess you're just going to like stay on me until I actually release them. Well, I'll release them as soon as I get rid of this. Alright, ground power unit is gone.
Release parking brakes.
Release parking brakes.
Push. All engines clear. Start at will.
I said I was starting beforehand, so why are you even asking me this? Okay, so it's a little tight up in there with the landing gear, but hey, I'm just going to roll with that GSX. But already, just to give you a couple of views, if we look over the wing, it's really nice. And as I mentioned, it's fun to fly. So, again, I know there are those of you who are out there who do like the business jet class and the general aviation. Well, here's a little love to you. We're about to get on our way. So the last thing I need to put on, if I remember correctly, yeah, that's the anti-skid, which is right here. Okay, so now all of our warning lights are off. This is our nav scene. Since we're down here, I'll go ahead and show you. You can go ahead and increase the range here. I haven't quite figured out how to get rid of all this clutter, but, you know, later. That's the test. We don't need that. Do we? And it can, okay. So we can do terrain, by the way. So it gives you some options. I don't know what you like best. Okay, by the sound, I think they're about to stop.
Set parking brakes.
Okay. We'll assume that we went through all of our checklists for starting up, and then we're going to get out of here and hightail it.
Unlocking gear.
Looks like you're dancing, but I'll take that. I'll take your word for it.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Excellent. Okay, he is doing his thing.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
All right. So we can... Oops, sorry. A little early. Now you waved me off. My parking brake is on. And he's walking away. He just gave me... And the good trip, so whatever. Brakes are off. Alright. We'll put slats on, which is the sound that you just heard. And we are ready for taxi. And they put us like right here at the taxiway, so I'm going to do a hard turn. Very good. There we go. And we are taxiing for the runway. The flight plan that I put together, we are taking off in San Diego from 27, and then we will turn on a northerly direction. And again, I think I've gotten the hang of the autopilot, so this should be, this is going to put me on blast or whether I got it or not. And I am notorious for making a mistake or two, so that's all right. But I really have been putting some time in this, and I'm late night time, I might add, staying up late because even though I'm in the summer, busier than a one-legged man at a butt-kicking contest. But this is kind of my hobby, my passion. It's how I unwind. So, everything in moderation. Okay, so we're taxiing here over to the runway. 27. And we are going to go ahead and pretend that they are going to give us clearance. So I'm going to stop at the hold short position, and I will turn on our landing lights, and then we'll get out of here. Alright, so we'll stop here. Oop, yeah. Turn on landing lights. Let me get out of the way here. There we go. Beacon. There we go. So, I'm going to put the flight yoke back. I kind of like having it myself, but that's just me. Okay, so we will say that we have clearance. I don't see anybody on the approach anyway, so clear on the left. My co-pilot would have given me clear on the right. Now, our V1 should be 95 knots. Our V2 would be 98. That's assuming a certain, weight, 15,000 pounds or less. So we're just going to go with that. And our rotate will be 98, and our takeoff will be... Okay, I see airplanes. So all I can say is... what do you call? Active Sky lied to me, because that's who I used to determine what the... Oh, no, he's coming off the runway. We're good. They didn't lie. Yay. All right, we're taking off. I know we're not going through all the flight procedures, because that's not the point of this video. It's so you can get to see this airplane. All right. So we are now on acceleration. I won't be that close. Okay, rotate. Positive rate of climb. You're up. Give you a little bit of a view out here, or even better, the view from the cabin. Nice. Okay, so quickly, now that we have gotten to 133, I'm going to let our slats up. Then we're going to come down here, and we are going to select our autopilot and our altitude select. Now, should have followed some procedure because I didn't even set the altitude. So right over here, this reads the last 3 digits. So this would say that I've set it for 8,000 feet. So it's going to climb as such. But our cruising altitude is 35, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this to 35,000 feet. So what you see is 350 when you get it on here. Okay, so that's set to 350. Then we can come down here. Let's see. Here we go. And I can give it a climb rate. Right now I'm going to give it a vertical speed of 1,500 feet per minute. Great. And as you can see, whoops, we are now leaving San Diego. Now, as you can see, that this is pretty densely populated with autogen scenery. I have Orbx Southern California scenery, and interestingly enough, I got Southern California and Northern California, and do believe I have the Pacific, not the fjords. That's the one Orbx U.S. territory that I do not have. I don't have the fjords. So it should, from what you might see of the aircraft, you know what that was. Too fast. How dare I? Too busy telling y'all about the external of the class. Let's get down to 250 since I've already broken the law. Alright. Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Y'all remember that from Beavis and Butthead? Alright. Anyway. Okay, here we go. So we'll let it go here. Now, what I can do is, since we're close to that, I can also hit our IAS. So it holds our speed. So what it will do is it will tilt, it'll pitch the aircraft in such a way that it will hold the speed that you had at the moment that you turned it on. So if you want to climb at 250 knots, it'll have, for the engine setting that you're on, the plane will pitch such that it maintains that speed, which we got going on. Perfect, bang on. All right, so I did something right today. And as you can see, let's see here. This is our nav that is in, and it should immediately change to this automatically. I'm going to move this down just so that you can see the nav here. So that's where we are, the one in pink. And, it updated. So now we're turning on to our new nav position, which should actually change very immediately so that we go to Melody. And there we go. There's Melody. So now we are all set. All we have to do is maintain our systems, until we cross, of course, 10,000 feet. We'll maintain this speed of 250 knots. And this will give me an opportunity to give you a little bit of view outside the aircraft. I mean, it's a beautiful bird. It comes with about 6 liveries, I believe. So it is a bit satisfying when you have this beautiful plane and you get it navs right, doing everything properly, unlike what I did in terms of going over, going over 250 knots. But it is actually flying the SID that was programmed into the aircraft. Now, you can actually load SIDs. I'm not going to go too much into detail because obviously, I'm just trying to show you the plane. But if you go over to menu here, you can actually put in your arrival and your departures for your SIDs and your stars. So as you can see, mine are already loaded here. Go back to the flight band. If you look at the arrival at PDX, those are already loaded here. Again, if you really want to see how to do that, let me know, and I'll put together a tutorial, because I'm starting to see the similarities between the FMS systems of the different Carenado aircraft. I have the F50, I have this, I also have a couple of their turbo prop passenger aircraft, and I now start to see the similarity. So you fly one, you've kind of flown them all. So, all right, I will bring you back when we are at cruising altitude. So here we are at cruising altitude. We're at 35,000 feet. We're over, how do I say, well, it's still the state of California, but as you can see, we're in the western part of the Rockies, of the Rocky Mountains. And let's give you a look inside the cabin here. We are now cruising. So if you look at the performance table, what it says, if you're cruising at 25,000 feet or above, you should cruise at an R. If you want a pitch of 0 with your aircraft, you should your in-1 rating should be at 96.7. So as you can see, I'm just a skosh above that, 96.9. So we're doing our suggested table cruising speed. Doing well, as you can see. Oh, let me hit this. We are flying along steadily, and so if we take a look out of our engines, out of our wing, the views are absolutely stunning. So, I don't know. Does this kind of entice you to look at this aircraft? Once you learn all of the handling of it, it's pretty interesting to fly. And for some odd reason, I like this cockpit. I like sitting here and just, watching the territory fly by. It's kind of fascinating. Sorry, again, recording reached its limit. I had to jump back in here, but I was just saying, the aircraft is really a pleasure to fly. I've enjoying it. Kind of rekindled my enjoyment of general aviation, business jet rather. I gather business jet falls under general aviation, doesn't it? Or is it a class unto its own? Any of you pilots out there, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know. I consider it general aviation, but it might not be. But nevertheless. So the station's, totally cool. A cabin view. I can even take my camera, look around the cabin, and even see our pilots getting the job done up front. Hey, how can you beat that? Well, okay. I am going to bring you back when it's time for our descent and subsequently our approach. Okay, so we are now past our top of descent, so we're descending. And I'm actually doing a little bit of rule of thumb piloting as it comes to calculating your descent rate at your top of descent. And I learned this from watching one of the tutorial videos for Captain Joe, who I believe is an Airbus airline pilot in the Netherlands. I think that's where he works, but nevertheless, I've been trying it out and everything, and it's actually pretty cool. So basically, if you're trying to figure out your descent rate, the first thing you have to do is take, okay, how long, how many feet do you want to drop? So at my next waypoint, I need to be at roughly 9,000 feet. So I had to take the difference of where I was, which was 35,000 feet, and 9,000 feet. So I'm dropping about 26,000 feet. So now that I know 26,000 feet, I have to look at how fast would I get there. So that would be the distance I was from the top of descent to where I want to be, which I think was at the time 100 and something miles, 100 or so miles, and you divide it by how many knots you're going, which was 220. So then you take that time that it would take for you to cover that distance, and you divide the altitude you want to drop by that time. The number that you get is your descent rate, which came to roughly 4, so I'm rounding it up to 500 feet per minute. So at 500 feet per minute, I should be around the target altitude, which is roughly 9,000 feet. And so we're just giving it a shot. It's a very steady and slow descent rate, so it doesn't look very dramatic. But, you know, we've got time, so we'll see how well we do. Now, just looking at my map, somehow I think I may have made a correction. Maybe I'm going faster than I think I am. In fact, I am definitely going faster than I think I am. So, we'll get back to that for another day. We're just going to boost up our descent rate here. And I think this will be fine. But I'm going to pull back on the throttle so that we maintain this speed while we descend. Now what I've done is I've increased it to, let's see here, 1,500 feet per minute, which is a nice steady, gentle descent. So I think we should be okay. And I can always give myself some spacing, you know, assuming that air traffic control would have done so. You know, I can give myself some spacing to bleed off some speed before we get to that altitude. And by the way, that flight restriction is between 9,000 and 15,000. So as long as I get down there between 9 and 15,000, I'm good. So we'll see. All right, I will bring you back when we get to our next waypoint. Okay, we're about to turn on to our final. In just a minute, we're going to turn to a heading of 283, which would put us in line to intercept the localizer and eventually the ILS. We're holding at our flight restriction of 2,900 feet. So let's see how well this goes. We will be turning to our right in just a moment. I would say in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So our course should be 283. Okay, and at this point we should start our descent down to, let's see, hold on. Okay, so we should set our descent down to 2,000. We'll do that now. And our speed will bring back. Now we'll drop landing gear. Give it on some flaps. And there she is. So, I'm going to take control of the aircraft now. And at our given weight, we're a little to the right, so I'm going to correct. We seem to be on a nice glide slope. There we go. Now our VREF should be roughly between 111 and 107. Our V approach should be 111, so we need to drop off a little bit more speed. And our VREF will be 107. So, let's see here. We're dropping off speed nicely. I'm going to give her some more flaps. Alright, there we are at 111. And we're lined up with the runway. So, arm flaps. Now, for whatever reason, when I arm flaps, it makes that noise. Not entirely sure why, but so be it. Alright, we're a little fast. So I'm going to pull the nose up a bit. Now we're at 111. Drop our nose. Seems that our little bit high, but we can gain some of that back by dropping our nose. And we're a little bit to the right of the runway, so I'm going to correct for that. Sorry for that little pause. Bring back throttle a little bit, just a little high on the glide slope, but we can fix that. We're gonna drop our throttle a little bit. And there's a plane getting on the runway. Get out of here! This is what you get for not using ATC. All right. Dropping speed just a little bit. Get her back down to 111. A little high. We're dropping. There we are on the glide slope. Pull the nose up. Hopefully that other plane will get out of the way by the time we get there.
500.
Continue. Giving it a little bit of throttle. Slow our descent rate. I'm going to ask you all to forgive that plane. Just pretend he's not there. Because I'm not using ATC, and that's why. Alright. Looking good. Okay. Kind of bringing throttles back a bit. A little high.
Minimums.
Continue. Oh wow, look, a Dash 8. Sweet. Alright, right at 107. Excellent. Throttle back. Reversers. Very nice. Alright. Turn off reversers. And we will exit at the first taxiway to the left, because that is for general aviation. Oops. Accidentally turned on reversers again. Alright. Very nice indeed. Alright, we're going to just taxi to parking, and then we will call it a flight. Bring you back in just a sec. Okay, we're almost here where we're going to park our aircraft. Should be coming up on it in just a second. Alright, should be here to our left. Here's our line. Okay. Bring it in. And slow down, slow down. Here we go. There we go. So we can go ahead and cut our throttles, which is done, let me see, looking over right here. That'll be the left hand, right. Then we will bring our power unit out. Oh, didn't bring the flaps up. There you go. Power unit on, and open our doors for the passengers. And here we are at Seattle, or not Seattle, but Portland, Oregon. Sorry about that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the Citation 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the scenery. And maybe this will give you a pause to give this aircraft a look-see and see if you want to add it to your virtual hangar. I appreciate all of you tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the virtual skies.